Welcome to Women Tennis USA. I am here to bring you a deep, detailed, and authoritative news report on one of the most talked about moments in modern women's tennis, a moment that has reverberated far beyond the baseline and into the very structure of the WTA itself. Today, the focus is on Coco Gauff and what many observers, including respected tennis voice Mary Carillo, are calling a brutal message to the WTA, not delivered through insults or outrage, but through performance, clarity, composure, and unmistakable intent. Coco Gauff has never been just another rising star. From the moment she burst onto the global stage as a teenager with fearless shotmaking and an unshakable sense of self, it was clear that her story would not follow the usual arc. Yet what has unfolded in recent seasons has been something far more consequential than individual success. It has become a statement about leadership, expectations, accountability, and the evolving identity of women's tennis in the United States and around the world. Mary Carillo, a longtime analyst known for her ability to contextualize greatness, has been particularly vocal in framing Gauff's rise not simply as athletic achievement, but as institutional pressure applied from within. At the center of this conversation is the idea that Coco Gauff is no longer waiting for the WTA to define her era. She is defining it herself. In match after match, tournament after tournament, she has demonstrated a level of maturity and competitive intelligence that forces the tour to respond to her, rather than the other way around. This is the message many interpret as brutal. It is not loud. It is not reckless. It is relentless. Mary Carillo has emphasized that what makes Gauff's message so powerful is its delivery. There is no tantrum, no public feud, no social media theatrics. Instead, there is preparation, adaptation, and results. When the WTA has struggled with consistency in marketing its stars, Gauff has become globally recognizable. When questions have arisen about the next dominant American figure in women's tennis, Gauff has answered them on the court. When debates have emerged about whether young players are being developed or overexposed, Gauff has rewritten the narrative by thriving under pressure rather than collapsing beneath it. This is where the message sharpens. Coco Gauff is showing the WTA that the future does not need to be managed with fear. It needs to be trusted. Her performances suggest that elite young athletes, when supported properly and given responsibility, can elevate the entire tour. In doing so, she exposes structural hesitations that have long existed within professional tennis, particularly in the women's game, where stars are often protected, shielded, or marketed cautiously rather than boldly. Carillo has pointed out that Gauff's presence changes the tone of American women's tennis. For years, the sport has searched for continuity after the era of the Williams sisters. Many promising players emerged, but few carried both the competitive edge and cultural resonance needed to anchor the tour. Gauff, however, brings not only a powerful all-court game, but also a voice that resonates beyond tennis. Her composure in interviews, her thoughtful engagement with social issues, and her respect for the sport's history all contribute to a sense that she belongs at the center of the conversation. The brutality of the message lies in its inevitability. The WTA must now reckon with a player who demands excellence around her. Tournament scheduling, player promotion, broadcast narratives, and developmental pathways are all placed under a microscope when someone like Gauff thrives. Her success raises uncomfortable questions. Why are there not more players prepared like this? Why does her professionalism feel exceptional rather than standard? Why does her adaptability stand out so sharply? Mary Carillo has suggested that Gauff's ability to evolve mid-season is one of the clearest indicators of her long-term impact. Technical adjustments, strategic patience, and emotional regulation are all areas where Gauff has shown measurable growth. This sends a message not only to her competitors but to the institutions responsible for shaping the sport. Development cannot be static. The game is changing, and those who do not evolve will be left behind. From a competitive standpoint, Gauff's rise has disrupted established hierarchies. Veteran players who once relied on experience to outmaneuver younger opponents are finding that Gauff's tennis IQ rivals their own. Younger players looking for a pathway see in her a blueprint that demands discipline, resilience, and ambition. The WTA, meanwhile, faces the challenge of ensuring that its infrastructure keeps pace with the athletes it produces. There is also a commercial dimension to this message. Coco Gauff's marketability is not manufactured. It is organic, rooted in authenticity and sustained by performance. Sponsors gravitate toward reliability, and fans respond to sincerity. This places pressure on the WTA to modernize its approach to storytelling. The old formulas no longer suffice when an athlete like Gauff communicates directly and effectively with a global audience. Mary Carillo has noted that one of the most striking aspects of Gauff's ascent is her refusal to be rushed or defined by others. Early in her career, expectations were immense, and the temptation to crown her prematurely was strong. Yet Gauff and her team resisted. They focused on incremental improvement rather than immediate domination. Now, as she consistently contends for the sport's biggest titles, the payoff of that patience is evident. This patience, paradoxically, intensifies the message to the WTA. It suggests that the system works best when it empowers athletes rather than exploiting them. Gauff's trajectory becomes a case study in what happens when talent is nurtured with intention. It implicitly critiques any structure that prioritizes short-term gains over long-term sustainability. On the court, Gauff's style reflects modern tennis. She blends power with defense, aggression with restraint. Her athleticism allows her to extend rallies, while her shot selection demonstrates growing confidence. Each improvement compounds the sense that she is building something durable. Mary Carillo has emphasized that durability, both physical and mental, is what separates fleeting success from lasting influence. Off the court, Gauff's demeanor reinforces her authority. She speaks with clarity, avoids unnecessary controversy, and acknowledges both victories and setbacks with honesty. This balance enhances her credibility. When she wins, it feels earned. When she loses, it feels instructive. The WTA benefits from such figures, yet must also recognize the responsibility they impose. The broader context of women's tennis makes Gauff's impact even more significant. The sport is in a transitional phase, with parity at the top creating unpredictability. While this has produced exciting competition, it has also complicated efforts to establish enduring rivalries and narratives. Gauff's consistency offers a potential anchor point. Her presence invites the tour to rally around excellence rather than novelty. Mary Carillo has framed Gauff's message as a call to seriousness. Not seriousness devoid of joy, but seriousness of purpose. The joy is evident in Gauff's play, in her smile, in her celebrations. Yet beneath that joy lies an unmistakable commitment to mastery. This commitment challenges everyone around her to raise their standards. There is also an intergenerational aspect to this story. Gauff bridges eras. She honors the legacy of American champions who came before her while charting a path that reflects contemporary realities. She understands the importance of visibility, representation, and responsibility. In doing so, she expands the role of a tennis star beyond the court. The WTA, as an organization, finds itself responding to this expanded role. Policies, initiatives, and messaging must align with the values embodied by its leading figures. When those figures act with integrity and ambition, the organization is compelled to follow suit. This is the essence of the brutal message. It leaves no room for complacency. Mary Carillo has remarked that Gauff's greatest strength may be her self-awareness. She knows where she excels and where she must improve. This awareness fuels progress. It also contrasts sharply with systems that resist introspection. The juxtaposition is stark and instructive. As the season unfolds and Gauff continues to compete at the highest level, the implications of her rise become clearer. She is not merely accumulating titles or rankings points. She is shaping expectations. Fans expect excellence. Broadcasters expect compelling narratives. Young players expect opportunity. The WTA must meet these expectations or risk falling behind the athletes it represents. In the United States, Gauff's prominence has reignited interest in women's tennis. Youth participation, media coverage, and public discourse all reflect her influence. This domestic impact amplifies the global message. The tour's health depends on its ability to cultivate stars who resonate at home and abroad. Gauff demonstrates what is possible. Mary Carillo has underscored that such influence carries weight. It demands accountability not only from the WTA but from the entire tennis ecosystem. Coaches, federations, sponsors, and media all play a role. Gauff's success exposes weaknesses and highlights strengths. It becomes a mirror in which the sport sees itself. The brutality of the message, then, is not destructive. It is constructive, though demanding. It insists on progress. It insists on respect for the athlete's intelligence and agency. It insists that excellence be supported, not hindered. As Coco Gauff continues to evolve, the conversation will evolve with her. New challenges will arise. Expectations will intensify. Yet if her trajectory thus far is any indication, she will meet those challenges with the same poise and determination that have defined her rise. Mary Carillo's observations remind us that we are witnessing more than a career. We are witnessing a recalibration of standards. In the end, the message to the WTA is clear, even if it is unspoken. The future is here, and it is prepared. It is thoughtful. It is relentless. Coco Gauff is not asking for change. She is embodying it. And in doing so, she leaves the tour with no choice but to listen, adapt, and rise alongside her.